On today's Into Your Head number 673, a brand new Athy Weekly World News with Seania Groga. Also, the laws governing Poetic licence, substandard versus bog standard cats, attitudes to swearing during the Second World War, traffic light diplomacy, covering a cold remedy's ass in a pub, and lots more. Join me at a tremendously exciting moment. I've got a cold. Myself is cold, not in temperature, no, in disease. I've got a coldular disease. I'm as diseased as be damned. I've got crap going through my head. I've got crap in my head of a physical nature, not the usual crap of the mental nature, but no, crap of a physical crap, I suppose, is what you'd call it. Well, there's probably other words for it. There's vulgar slang words for it. There's also technical medical terms for it, which are no less disgusting as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to be using the word mucus. I'd rather say crap. Crap in the head sounds less disgusting to me than mucus, possibly because we all know it's not real crap. No, it's just a term. But if I say mucus, then we know it's real mucus, and now we've got thoughts of mucus in our heads. I don't want thoughts of mucus in my head any more than I want real mucus in my head. It's just as bad as far as I'm concerned. The physicality of it versus it being a thought make no difference to me. Maybe they make a difference to you. I don't know. If they do, they shouldn't, and if they don't, they should. Well, I don't. Maybe they shouldn't. But whatever your current thinking is, you should always try on the opposite thinking just for size and see if it fits every now and then. Because otherwise, how do you know you don't agree with the other side? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. No, try it on for size. You wouldn't go into a shop and have a look at a glove and say, oh, that glove looks nice, but it wouldn't fit me. No, you try it on and see if it fits you. And then if it doesn't, you try it on the other hand and see if it fits there. And you might be surprised, I can tell you. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. Two paracetamol-based cold medications walk into a bar. One of the paracetamol-based cold remedies goes straight up to the bar counter and says, hello, can I have a pint of your finest whiskey, please? And the man behind the bar says, does it not say on your back label there that you shouldn't be consumed with alcohol? And the medication says, indeed it does, but I'm not inviting you to consume me, and you're not drinking because you're on the job. It's me that's going to be drinking. I'm a medicine and I can drink whatever I want. It's just the people who use me that shouldn't be drinking. Well, they're advised not to drink. It's not illegal. There's no law against it. It's not yet illegal in this country to shove a couple of paracetamol down your throat and wash it down with whiskey. It's just ill-advised. Frankly, this label on the back of my arse is just covering my manufacturer's arses. Ironically, they're just covering their asses by sticking a label on my arse. Oh, isn't that hilarious? Oh, anyway, yes, a pint of whiskey, please. And the man behind the bar says, no, we don't serve medicines in this bar. It's against my license. As in, on page 3 there, it explicitly says, no medicines are to be served in this bar for fear of having your license removed. And the medicine says, I think that means you're not allowed to sell medicines. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to serve alcohol to medicines. And the man behind the bar says, well, I'm not going to take that chance. I'm not going to risk my livelihood just so you can shove some ill-advised alcohol down your throat. And the medicine says, I suppose that's fair enough. I can understand that. If I were you, I'd be just as cautious. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I decide to live a little, just as I'm doing now by having alcohol down me. But I don't know. I think this is an example of the pussyization of modern society. People are afraid. Oh, they're afraid to do anything in case it gets them in trouble. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. And the barman says, you're one to talk. You're covered in labels. And the medicine says, well, I didn't put them on. I'm an inanimate object. They were attached by the manufacturer. I would have thought that was obvious. And the man behind the bar says, I would have thought that too, but I didn't think it until now. That's why it wasn't obvious. If I had thought that it was obvious before now, then it would have been obvious. But I didn't have that thought until now. So it's really, if I were to travel back in time now, I suppose I could have that thought all over again. But I'd have to talk to myself of the past, and that would be traumatic for the me of the past, which would affect the me of the present, wouldn't it? If we've learned anything from the Back to the Future movies, I think we've learned that. And medicine says, Christ on a popsicle stick. And the man behind the bar says, what's that supposed to mean? And the medicine says, I think it's self-explanatory. Jesus Christ, the man believed in as the saviour of billions of people in this world, on a popsicle stick, which is basically, it's a stick. It's a stick used to keep a popsicle erect. And the man behind the bar says, are you being vulgar? And the medicine says, indeed I'm not. I am not. Are you being vulgar? And the man behind the bar says, I suppose I am, because I'm having that thought where I assume that you're being vulgar. Although in fairness to myself, I wasn't assuming. I asked you, are you being vulgar? I didn't go outright and say you're being vulgar, although admittedly that's what I was thinking. But no, I can't control my thoughts. I can control whether I say them out loud, and I did, but I can't control my thoughts. And medicine says, I suppose that's fair enough. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. And the man behind the bar says, oh, you're very welcome. I'm only sorry that I couldn't make any money out of you. And the medicine says, oh, there's still time. You could serve me up a pint of whiskey. And the man behind the bar says, I suppose I could, but how much will I charge you for it? Whiskey isn't served in pints, you know. And the medicine says, well, I'm not served in pints either, but you could still do that. And the man behind the bar says, indeed I could, but it would be exceed the maximum dosage by tenfold, so it probably wouldn't be a good idea. Overcautious or no overcautious. And the medicine says, I suppose that's true. I probably shouldn't be advising you to do that. And the man behind the bar says, indeed you shouldn't. And the medicine says, I think this has gone far enough. Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, he doesn't sound well at all. He shouldn't be doing a full-length show. He should just write a new Thai Weekly World News with Sean Yagroig, get his wife to record it and put that on here, and that'll keep us happy for a couple of days. I think you'd be largely right about that, although I have had 6 or 7 espressos in the last couple of hours. I have to outlet them somewhere, otherwise I'm going to be running around like a lunatic all day trying to let off steam. I'll have to go for a cross-country run across the country, except it won't be very satisfying because we all know that no matter how small a country you live in, you're not going to be able to run across it and back in one day. Maybe if I managed to run across it, I could get there by sunset, but then I'd have to stay somewhere tonight and not get home till tomorrow. And I can tell you, when you wake up in Galway in the morning, having run across the country the day before, you're going to be in no mood with all the aches and pains to get up and run backwards back to where you came. No. So no, we won't do that. Instead, I'll let off steam here. Oh, there's a bird just flew past my window carrying something something in his beak. I presume it's an item that he either thinks it's food or his food or both. But I don't know. What do birds eat? I presume they eat food. Do birds eat food? There's a question for you. Or do they eat inanimate objects, such as, for example, dead worms, which is supposed to the bird as food. One man's non-food is a bird's food, which is just as well, because I don't want to share food with a bird. I'm glad that they consider their different stuff to be food than we do. I wouldn't want to have to share my sandwich with some filthy blackbird that's flying past my window in the dead of mid-morning on the bank holiday Monday. Christ, it's a bank holiday Monday incidentally here. The banks are shut. Everything of a useful nature is shut for the day, and people stay at home watching television, or pouring alcohol down their gullets, or making podcasts, or telling the world about their bank holiday. We have a bank holiday for Easter. We had Sunday off, but we decided no, Sunday doesn't count because we have Sundays off anyway, so you have to give them Monday off, and then they can pretend Monday is in lieu of Sunday, and they can pretend Sunday never happened. It was just a bog standard normal Sunday, which it wasn't. It wasn't a bog standard normal Sunday. It was Easter Sunday. One of the finest Sundays of the last couple of millennium. It's the highlight of the year as far as I'm concerned. Not that there's anything exciting about the year so far. The year bollocks. This is a load of crap, isn't it? It's a pile of irredeemable crap. A pile of substandard, bog standard. No, not bog standard. Bog standard implies that it's average. It's not average. It's unacceptable. It's substandard. Don't be confused. Substandard is not as good as bog standard. If I say there's a bog standard cat outside there, that means it's an average cat. Nothing special about it, but nothing substandard about it either. If I say that's a substandard cat, then it means it's unacceptable. It cannot be accepted as a standard cat in any way, shape or form, because it's substandard. It's below par, and that's exactly what this segment is. Unless I can redeem it now in some way, I don't think I'm making much progress in that direction. I suppose I've tried. That's what they say, isn't it? Try again, and if you fail, come back and try again, and then try again. And these people will say, oh, he's very good at trying. He succeeds at trying. If his aim in life is to try things and fail, then he's succeeding at that. Then, of course, they laugh behind your back. They go, oh, isn't he hilarious? What a loser with his trying. He should stop trying and go and watch television like us, like the rest of the world, sitting there on their high chairs in front of a television, watching. What are they watching now? They'd be watching Animaniacs. If you're watching television at 8:30 on the bank holiday Monday, you're probably watching Animaniacs, or else you're watching the Best of Ireland AM, I assume. They wouldn't have a live one on a bank holiday. People don't get up and go places on a bank holiday, so you don't have the usual crap on. You have special crap. They basically, a bank holiday is basically a Sunday under another name. This is it's like a second Sunday. They say, yesterday's Sunday was so good, we're going to be gluttonous and have a second Sunday. We have 2 Sundays in a row. Is that a song? No, it's not. Anyway, on with whatever this is. Did I say sitting on their high chairs in front of their television? Well, that was an error. What I meant to say was something along the lines of sitting on their high horses in front of the television. So you probably thought what I was talking about. You probably thought I was launching an attack on young children who sit in high chairs. No, I wasn't. I was not. But I can see now how you would have thought that, because you were listening interesting. You listen to the previous segment and then you pass judgment before hearing this after note, which I suppose is reasonable. I'd have done the same if I were you. I'd probably have done the same if I was myself. And I am myself. I'm myself. Well, I'm not quite myself today, as I think you've garnered already. I'm not quite myself today, but I'm not anyone else either. So I suppose I'm nobody. I'm nobody today, or at least I'm less me than usual. So I'm only 60% of anybody. If you're not quite yourself, it doesn't mean you become someone else. Oh no, you just fade away a bit temporarily. Hopefully, I'll be back. I'll come back at some point. It's like when you turn down the brightness on your television and it fades out a bit, and you think, "Oh Christ, my television has a cold. It's not quite itself today." But then, of course, in that instance, then you eventually, hopefully, realise that you've accidentally turned down the brightness. And that doesn't work for stuff like this. You can't turn up someone's brightness and expect the symptoms of a cold to just disappear like that. No. Suppose I could take a cold remedy, but I think I've talked myself out of that with the earlier story about a smart arse cold remedy talking to a barman. I wouldn't want one of those inside me now. I've been completely put off by that. I've talked myself out of having a cold remedy, which I suppose isn't necessarily a bad thing, because if I ever badly need one, then it'll work a bit better, because I won't have had too many in my life. Or does it work like that with cold remedies? I don't know. So they're the same as antibiotics in that way. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not, or maybe they are. Maybe they are, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're not, or maybe they are. Where's my harmonica? Oh, there it is. Maybe they're not, or maybe they are. Maybe they are, or maybe they're not. Oh, maybe they are, or maybe they're not. Oh, if they're not, then you're covered in snot. Oh, maybe they are, or maybe they're not. If you've got a temperature, you'll still be hot. Do cold remedies bring your temperature down? I'm not sure now, and now that I think about it. Oh, maybe they are, or maybe they're not. Maybe you'll wake up still covered in snot. That reminds me of a B-side by Oasis, only because it had harmonica on it too. What was it called? Round Our Way. It was a Manchester way of saying round our way. They said round our way, A-R-E, an intentional misspelling to try and be cute and make it sound like the way kids used to talk in Manchester or wherever they grew up. I suppose they're taking poetic license. I've written many poems. I've written about 6 poems over the years. I don't have a poetic license. Well, maybe I do metaphorically. A license isn't something that you just take and write one for yourself. I don't know. It's not a poetic license, doesn't it? They're saying, because I've just decided to do whatever I want, that means I have a license. No. A license, by definition, is a permission that someone else gives you. If you just take it, then it's not a license at all. You're just you're just living outside a licential system, which I suppose is okay if there isn't a licential system for poets. But suffice to say, though. Anyway, on with the show.
Support the podcastual arts at no cost to you. Just click through the Amazon link at intoyourhead.com whenever you go shopping for anything, even if you use Amazon UK or Canada. We'll take your weird foreign money here. We're not proud. Just visit intoyourhead.com and click on the appropriate Amazon banner.
Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener. Email Neil at studio@intoyourhead.com.
You are listening to Into Your Head, a listener-supported podcast. Please visit intoyourhead.com/tipjar.
I'm Shawnee Grega, and this is Athai Weekly World News. The news, the whole news, and nothing but the news. Oh, and lots more. It's been announced that 2 government-rescued banks are to pull out of internet banking in Athy, with immediate effect. The cost-saving measure means customers in the town who attempt to access the websites of Permanent TSB and EBS will instead be diverted to Little Ireland's Super Saturday Deals page. The National Bank Regulatory Body has advised anybody in Athy who still has savings to keep quiet about it and just export their account information to PayPal or something. German discount retailer Aldi has denied allegations that its tinned sardines and mackerel suck monkey nuts, after a local podcaster's wife reported that 4 out of 6 of her cats shunned it as a treat, even going so far as to scrape the floor beside the product in the internationally recognised symbol for "This is feces and I want to bury it." Now it's time for our first look at tomorrow morning's newspapers, starting with the Irish Times, which leads with a report that newly installed Pope Francis has shunned the traditional mass wine in favour of blackcurrant flavoured concentrated squash in an attempt to reach out to younger Christians. The Irish Examiner goes with the news that the government is secretly planning to tax oxygen, while the Irish Super Soaraway Saturday Sun devotes its entire front page to a spectacular photograph of the sun, in tribute to a young local photographer who is now blind. Finally, the Irish Independent leads with a giant smudge, followed by an unprecedented front page editorial slamming what it calls declining standards in the print industry. Business news now. And Athy Town Council has invited submissions of sponsorship proposals for the town's new roundabout. It's hoped that entrepreneurs will relish the opportunity to have their brands associated with the unique landscaped junction at the north end of the town, which is believed to be the hemisphere's only counterclockwise roundabout. Meanwhile, local councillors have expressed concern at the revelation that the town's long-awaited Relief Road, which was finally announced last year, will run along the western seaboard of the country and only pass within 130 miles of Athy town. Defending the proposals, planners have explained that the whole point of a bypass road is to take the traffic as far away from the town centre as physically possible. Meanwhile, Athy Weekly World News can reveal that a much-hyped deep tunnel currently being constructed several thousand miles underground and with zero funding from the Irish government is in fact being built by Australia. Weather news now. And it's going to be bitterly cold and wet this week. So don't forget to bring a brolly and wrap up well in a coat and hat and gloves and trousers and socks and shoes and aluminium foil and cat, and don't forget your lunchbox and some strepsils. For up-to-the-minute weather reports for your local road, please call the number on your iPod screen. Calls cost money, but then so does cat food. Such is life. Finally, it's time for this year's Athy Weekly World News with Sonia Groiga annual April Fool's Day spoof story, in association with Athy Joke Shop. Local horse breeders are in crisis after the recent withdrawal of several contracts with major supermarkets. That's according to a fictional statement by the town's Chamber of Commerce, which, in a press release entitled "This Might Make a Good April Fool's Story for you, Sonia," urged the town's residents to shop local, saying the county's horse meat is among the best in Europe. And that was this year's April Fool's story, brought to you by Athy Joke Shop. Call in before April 2nd and get a free car when you spend €15 or more on cheap plastic crap or fake vomit. I'm Sonia Groiga, and now you're completely up to date. Unless, of course, you're listening to this belatedly on a podcast or something. Don't forget to join me tonight on the E3 Extra Plus channel for Sonia's 9 o'clock news after party, when I'll be getting VIP behind the scenes access to the real stories behind the main evening news programme, with Nikki from Westlife. But for now, a very good evening to you. Cats, cats, cats. Cats were jumping in my face while I was trying to read. Cats, cats, cats. Yay, cats.
Now, I thought we'd end today with a closing segment which could last anywhere from 10 seconds to 7 or 8 minutes. If it lasts 7 or 8 minutes, then we'll have a normal length show. But if it lasts less than that, then we'll have a shorter than usual show. But that's okay, because I've already explained that I'm under the weather. I have a cold. We've discussed that earlier, so everything's fine. So if I disappear now in the next few seconds, you won't think, oh, we've been left short today. He's pissed off away early and left us short. No, I haven't left you. For one thing, I spent the whole morning writing that Seania Groga, brand new Seania Groga. It took me a whole frigging morning. In fact, I wrote her on Easter Sunday morning. It took me 2 or 3 hours. Now, technically, the morning is 12 hours long, but you know damn well what I'm talking about. That took me ages to write. This stuff doesn't just come up out of nowhere, you know. You have to prepare. There's time and effort put into this crap. Even a crap takes up time and effort. You should know that. Even you non-creative types know that a good crap takes several days to brew, and then to perform it takes, it can take up to half an hour longer if you're a lady or a man of leisure and you have time to devote to that sort of thing, which if you do, I can tell you've no business complaining about me finishing a few minutes early. Jesus Christ, give me a fucking break. But no, suffice to say, we might end early today, or we might not. It really depends on how long I stretch this out, or how short I compact it to. Could I be brief? There's a question for you. Can I be brief? Now, if you were to ask me that, I'd either say, I'd make some smart arse comment. I'd say yes, or else I'd say no, and then talk for 55 minutes and elaborate on my answer. That would be the thing to do if you were some sort of a smart arse. If you're trying to come up with smart quips like the likes of Winston Churchill did, although he made them short and snappy. He said things like, he said that thing to that woman, what was it? Yes, I'm ugly and I killed Hitler, but in the morning, you'll still be ugly and I'll be skinny, or something along. I can't remember the exact statement at the moment. I'm not here to regurgitate quotes by wartime English prime ministers. We'll look it up for you. Hold on. The young people listen to this who've probably never heard Winston Churchill quote. Hold on. I'll just look it up for you. In the morning, I'll be search. Here was it. I'll be sober in the... Oh, there we go. Hold on. Yes, I am drunk, but tomorrow I'll be sober and you will still be ugly. That's what he said to some woman who called him drunk. Which is a bit rude if you ask me. But you can get away with it when you say when you lead your country out of war, I'm still free. I think you can get away with that sort of thing. If that was the likes of Bono going on American television and going fuck, then of course you get in major trouble. But no, that was back in the old days when you could still insult people and get away with it. You were allowed to offend people in those days. Hitler wasn't allowed to offend people. But if you said something about the Jews, and here Winston Churchill came in and said, "Oh, what are you saying about the Jews?" And I'd say, well, if you think this is bad, listen to what that Hitler fella is doing. I'm saying stuff, but he's doing stuff. Which is worse? You're allowed to say stuff. It's a free... Well, not at the moment. It's not a free country. It's been invaded by the Nazis. But we're aiming for a free country. And he'd say, I suppose you have a point there. How did you get into my office, incidentally? I'm a bit worried about security here. And you'd say, I don't know. I don't think I'm in your office. I think I'm just psychically transmitting to you. I'm just sitting in my bedroom here in another country, as it happens. We're neutral over here in Ireland. I don't know if you're aware of this. We're If if America were to be blown up today by, I don't know, North Korea, we'd take a neutral stance, or would we? I don't know. There's different thoughts on this. Some would say, neutral just means you don't jump in and attack whoever attacks your allies, and some will say neutral means it's like when you have a flashing orange light at the traffic light, you come along, there's a flashing green light, I forget which, there's one of them that means you don't necessarily have to stop, but there's a don't necessarily have to stop light for the other direction as well, and everyone has to just look and make up their mind. That's pretty much, that's what a neutral means. It's like a traffic light that's flashing. Now, I don't drive, so I don't know whether I've got all that exactly correct. Besides which, you're all listening in different countries that have different rules of the road as well, so let's not get bogged down in the international rules of the road. Anyway, suffice to say, good morning.
Follow Neil at twitter.com/intoyourheadpod and pretend to like him at facebook.com/intoyourheadpodcast.